So here we have a component. It's called the template show component, and it has a method called process text, which is called from template in various places. This component is kind of similar to another component called checklist show, which we can see is a bit more complicated, but it also has a process text method which is identical. So there's two different components that have slightly different purposes, but they share the same code. So obviously when we have to modify this code, we have to remember to modify it in two places, which is not very dry. Don't repeat yourself. So what we want to do is move this code into a place where both components can access it, and we only have to maintain it in one place. And the way to do that in Angular is by creating a service. So this was really added for something called Linkify, which is actually a third-party JavaScript library. So I've decided to call the service Linkify service because it will need to import that library. So we can take that import out of the controller, we can import it in here instead, and we can just copy the code. So let's remove it from there, put it into the service. It's just a straightforward method. I guess we should be careful here that we get all of the code from the method. Okay, so there it is. We now have our service. We can now inject that service into the component here. Now it's just noticed that I named it incorrectly. So that should be Linkify service. We don't want service in the name twice. Let's get rid of that. So there we go. That's better. Linkify.service. There's the method. Let's do the same for template show. Linkify service. And make sure we import it here. Okay, so now, so I'm just going to format this. I'm a bit fussy about. Okay, so we now have the Linkify service, but obviously this method no longer exists. So one way you could do this is you could do it like this, Linkify service, and make that public here, and then you can see that, and then you can see that that would be recognized, and then you could do it also here. But that's not a great idea. I mean, some people do it, but it's generally considered bad practice to call a method directly on the service and make the service public. So rather than do that, what we can do is keep this private and have a public method here for process text, which literally calls the one in the service. With a typo there. And don't forget we need to pass the string. So we can do the same thing in the other component. Whoops. And the last step is to make sure that the new service you've added is available to the app. So we're going to add that to the app module. In the providers array of our app module, we need to add the Linkify service. And that's how you solve the problem. So these call the local method. That local method calls the method in the service is injected, and the shared code is in the service. Thanks for watching.